Hey, welcome back, you marvelous monsters, to another issue of Marvel Canon Madness. I'm your host, Chip. Josh isn't with us tonight, but it's all right. We got a guest host, and we also have our forever host, Roy, with us.
Hello, hail and well met, adventurers.
Hey, what up, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. It's been an interesting week. I released my first episode of the Intrepid DM Journeys.
Yeah, shell that.
Yeah, it's a podcast about dungeon masters for tabletop role-playing games. So it's been a great week. I had a lot of fun doing it, and it's going to be great going forward. So, yeah.
Nice. Excellent. We also have a guest host with us tonight. One of my former co-workers, Sarah, who says that she enjoys some Marvel comics, and we figured we'd have her on because, unfortunately, Josh could not be here tonight. So, how you doing tonight, Sarah?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here. We love a good guest. We always enjoy having people guest. Roy actually started as a guest, but we decided to keep him because he did an all right job.
It's because I'm
He
pretty.
took over.
It is because he's pretty. It's the big beard.
That's what people say when they see me. It's all about the beard.
That's what they say. So we've got a brand new issue here tonight. We're going to talk about the most recent 2 episodes of Marvel's What If. We got the zombie episode. We also got an excellent little What If Killmonger Saved Stark episode. I got to say, Stark does not have a good time in any of these What If episodes.
No,
He's just not meant to live. I mean, like, he just can't live.
Rough go. Yeah, having a rough go of it. And then after we talk What If, we're going to break down Shang Chi. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to have a lot of fun talking about it. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. What did you think about it, Roy?
Oh, well, it was kind of on my pirated cut. No, I went to the theaters. It was great. I kind of wish I had gone and saw it in IMAX or 3D. I think the visuals would have been 10 times better.
They were really good special effects, really good fight scenes. How about you, Sarah? Did you enjoy Shang-Chi?
It was honestly probably the best origin story that Marvel's put out for their cinematic universe. I think that the cultural aspect was phenomenal, and kind of like what Roy was saying, the fight choreography was like some of the most polished that I think they've ever put out. It was so smooth. That bus scene though, that was fantastic. Yeah. I loved it.
That was better fight scene on a bus than Andrew Garfield gave us. Not Richard.
Richard Garfield.
Is that the guy that made Magic the Gathering?
Can I just say that Simu Lee? I believe is how you say his name.
Liu.
Yeah.
Liu. Simu Liu. I'm sorry.
You're good.
That guy is no joke. I mean, his core, the fact that they actually took, behind the scenes of him doing his own choreography and stuff. No, he did a lot of his own stunts, I believe is what was reported. Was that right there? That puts him top tier actor in my book. Anyone who does their own stunts,
Agreed.
For sure. Oof. Well, we will break all of that down. Any news? Any new Marvel news going on? The only thing that I heard was just more Andrew Garfield's talking about how he's not in the new Spider-Man movie. So there were some set photos and an actual set video of him on the set. And
in 4K?
Of course, yeah, they're in 4K, but he says they're photoshopped. So they photoshopped video of him in 4K. Pretty impressive to the photoshoppers. I say Marvel should probably just give them a job then. Because I totally take him at his word. He definitely is not in this movie.
It's it's not like he's got any Oscars or Emmys to, throw out there to his acting. So it's not that great of an actor.
Nah. Nobody.
Nobody will
Nobody's
believe it.
that good of an actor. Yeah, so that's, I don't know, just more confirmation. It's definitely going to be, the new Spider-Man's going to be so fantastic. Just mad
Benedict,
fun. Mad fun.
I can never say
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I can never say his last name properly on the first try. You got to give me two. But he has even said that Spider-Man is the most aspiring movie. It's like there's
Ambitious?
another word for it. Ambitious. The most ambitious superhero movie he's ever seen. Next to Doctor Strange 2, that will be right after it. And then everyone will think that Spider-Man wasn't as great. So, I mean, it's a bold claim.
I mean,
Marvel
I'd say
fans
that
are
too.
eating this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I'm really, really excited for that. I'm really excited for Venom 2.
Yes.
God, all the trailers for that look fantastic. Super stoked to see Carnage. It looks like they're going to do him justice. It's kind of exactly what I would want from Carnage. Like the little shot where his suit bleeds into the symbiote. Golden.
Mm-hmm. It's
stoked.
The visuals on that movie are 10 times better than what we got with rubber suit Venom in the late 2000s, early 2000s. I don't remember when Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 came out.
Oh yeah, no, that thing was that was not my bag for Venom. It was not very well done. It was good for the time. I mean, I guess like I really have to temper my distaste with the fact that 20 years ago I thought it was one of the best movies ever made. So I mean, it all just, grain of salt and time. Like I don't think it stands up to the test of time. We've gotten way too many better movies since then.
Yeah. The direction that they've taken the Marvel Cinematic Universe has so far veered off that it makes those movies look like they were directed by a bunch of college students, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, for the time they were really good, but
yeah,
what are you going to do? I mean, we're now bringing Mark Hamill back as Luke Skywalker with not deep fakes, but young de-aging, and we're doing the same thing with Alfred Molina.
For sure. Gosh, I was supposed to remind you about banners as well, Roy. There's a comment there from Jasmine. I'd love you to pop up on the screen if you could. The answer to why are there so many Spider-Mans is because Spider-Man's makes money. He is one of the most profitable properties that Marvel owns. Basically, Marvel makes so much money off of Spider-Man and Wolverine that you will never see either of those characters permanently killed off. You will always see new reiterations of them. Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't recast Wolverine and thrown him into a new movie already.
They're going to do it.
They're leaving money on the table because it'd be the same thing as always. People are going to complain and be like, oh no, I don't want to watch this because it's X actor, not Hugh Jackman. But they're still going to pay to go see it. And they're still going to be like, oh man, that was incredible. I never expected that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's why always going to see more Spider-Mans. Pretty soon we'll get Miles. Like, they've got to give Miles a standalone movie soon. He's a really popular character in the comics.
Yeah, I think No Way Home, if they do the multiverse, that would be a really good way to introduce him, because they do have to kill Peter Parker for Miles to become Spider-Man. And Miles was originally from the Ultimate Spider-Man series, I believe. So,
yeah, for sure.
But,
he was from Ultimate, I believe, first.
Yeah, the Ultimate Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Which, the Ultimate Universe, if you haven't read it and you go and read it, just be well aware that the Ultimate Universe of Marvel Comics is extremely graphic compared to other comics.
Yeah, don't bring your kids.
Yeah, just for a like small synopsis, Hulk is a cannibal. That tells you everything right there. And it's not just like he does it randomly. No. He
Spoiler
rages.
alert. Hank
He
Pym
doesn't.
becomes a cannibal.
Yeah. There's all kinds of weird stuff that happens in the Ultimate series.
Man, they have like 4 different characters that become cannibals. Like,
Oh yeah.
Pym, Blob, like, oh my gosh, wow.
Natasha Romanoff and Tony Stark get married in that universe. They also release Natasha, to get back at Tony, releases a sex tape to ruin his public image and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really weird. But I think we're supposed to be talking about What If.
Yeah,
we should probably delve into that.
Well, I think we were going to get to that. This is all still part of news.
Oh, okay.
I mean, did you see that Hawkeye trailer?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Word. Ooh. It looks like.
Excuse me.
Is Sarah in right now? It looks like she said she got kicked out for a second. It looks like she's backstage. Or is she in? There we go.
All
Okay,
right.
sorry about
Am I
that.
here?
Sarah's
Am I here?
back in with.
Yep, you're here.
back
Sorry
in
about
with
that.
us. Sorry about
Okay.
that. Cool,
It's okay.
So we were just saying the Hawkeye trailer was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I dug it. I'm excited for it. They're pulling a lot from like the Aha Fraction storyline, which is one of my favorites. So I'm really stoked on that. It's going to be exciting.
I'm excited for the Rogers the musical. I want to see what they're willing to show for that.
That's literally what I said in our group chat. As soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, bruh, Rogers the musical is my shish. Like, I'm excited for that. It's going to be so funny. So funny. I paused it to look at like all the actors that they have playing the Avengers. The costumes are so campy. It's going to be so funny.
Yeah. Literally Hulk is just green sneakers, purple pants, and a green hoodie. In some face paint.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like your typical high school production. So
yeah. Also, now that you brought up Rogers the musical, people have been zooming in on Thor in that picture, and people think that Chris Evans might secretly be cameoing as Thor in that.
I would live for that. That's incredible.
Fitting. That would be great. I'm cool with that.
He's got a cameo in the Fantastic Four movie, though. He's got to do something. Just,
I mean, it's
just
interesting callback that he was Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Flame on.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because Chris Evans played Johnny Storm and then went on to do another role. And so did Michael B. Jordan. He also played Johnny Storm and then went on to be a different role.
That's right. I actually forgot about the reboot of Fantastic Four.
That is totally cool.
Everybody forgets about that.
I'm here to remind you. That Michael B. Jordan is Johnny Storm until they make a new one. But
isn't that in the works?
In theory, yeah. I feel like they've announced it. Yeah. That's really all the news that I had to talk about. I guess we'll start talking about What If. Episode 5 was zombies, and I was really excited for zombies when they announced What If, and I saw that they were going to do a zombie episode. I really like zombies. I'm a big zombie fan. Love that genre. So I've always liked the Marvel Zombies comics. They have done a few different limited run series, and they're all pretty good. So I was pretty stoked.
I think each of these episodes is going to circle around. I think they're actually. I don't know if there's actually an overarching story now.
No,
like
me
we
neither.
had, like how we
yeah.
had kind of bet that, you know, in the end it's all going to come together, but I'm not 100% sure on that anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Because we're getting what, 13, 14 episodes?
Is it
I
that
think that's what
many?
they said, yeah.
I think that's what it said. And if that's the case, maybe all these are like two-parters, because a lot of these are just left at, you know, what was that? Right? I mean,
Yeah, I was hoping for like a more satisfying conclusion to the zombie episode, but I mean, the ending was still pretty cool. It was just like, I wanted to see how it finished.
Yeah, that's pretty depressing ending because I feel like I know exactly how it's gonna finish. Like, there's no way they fight off zombie Thanos. I mean,
That image, that shot though, that ending shot, that was actually kind of like intimidating. It's Thanos, but zombified with the Infinity Gauntlet.
yeah, yeah. Because, oh man, and it was so clever too, because like, yeah, Wakanda's the last safe place. Nobody can get through our shields except for Thanos, and the Avengers aren't there to like help fight him off. Whoops, man.
and I do want to say all right, zombies. I wasn't a huge fan of the episode. Not a huge fan. It was okay. There was one point in that in the episode that immediately got it at least above a 7 for me, and that was Sharon Carter biting the dust, because that bitch deserves it.
Yeah, that bitch deserves it. Why? Because she's the power broker.
She lost me a bet.
So
I had to wear a Wonder Woman costume on stream because of that woman. I'm glad she bit the dust.
That's great. The blonde Bond. Oh man, and it was dude, her zombie death was pretty hardcore. She took hope with her though. I don't know. What'd you think about Spider-Man's little zombie apocalypse video?
That was great. That was so funny.
That was a nice lead in.
It made me think of there's been a few like, I guess like teen leaning horror movies about like random apocalypses in the last like few years, and I feel like a lot of them have that like little trope to them where like the main character talks to his camera at one point. It's like trying to be all casual about stuff. Like, I feel like it started with Zombieland.
Oh yeah, where he's going over like the rules of like the do's and don'ts to avoid getting eaten and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that really started it. And a lot of other movies have like adopted that since.
Well, I mean, that's like what Spider-Man would do, though. That's what Peter Parker would do. You know,
Yeah,
it fit perfectly with his character, and it was just like the right amount of comedy. That an episode that was pretty dark. It was like the perfect amount of comedy for it. So
it was pretty dark. I wanted to mention that like for a Disney Plus show, it was pretty rugged at times.
Some of these episodes have been. That was something that kind of bothered me, is when Banner falls in and meets up with Spider-Man, and you find out that this has been going on for a while he was gone, you know? It's like, why aren't they wearing more protective gear? They're still just wearing their normal outfits.
Still wearing the spandex?
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard, especially Peter's got access to Tony Stark's stuff, right? At this point, he's got the normal suit. Since Infinity War didn't happen, because this would be during Infinity War. He doesn't have the Iron Spider suit, but the Iron Spider suit exists. And he knows that because Tony showed it to him at the end of Homecoming.
That's true.
It's like, why didn't you go get that?
I don't know.
They're trying to survive
do you
zombies.
Risk it? Yeah. Do you risk it?
They should immediately know. Get more padding. Get more hard surface gear that can't be bit through.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only going to run into one Steve Rogers with super strength jaws. You know.
That is a good point, actually.
Yeah, riot gear for the win. If The
Mhm.
Walking Dead taught us anything, I feel
And
like that would have taken away from the aesthetics. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is a comic book, all right, about superheroes. Do you really want your Spider-Man trudging around in a all black riot gear suit?
I want my Spider-Man looking like a badass in riot gear, swinging around, just like full on punching zombies.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
I mean, if it was comic accurate, though, Spider-Man would have been a zombie in this one.
If you're gonna be smart, yeah, I don't know. You got to suspend the disbelief.
Now,
He-
is this the spider? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but is this
Nope,
the
you're fine. Go.
episode that they like had to edit because it was too dark? Because didn't they have to go back and kind of fine tune one of the episodes with Spider-Man in it?
I'm not sure.
I think
Maybe.
I remember reading a statement that like they had an episode that featured Spider-Man and his story, and I don't know if it was this one or if it's one that's like coming up, but I think it was like they had to edit it because of how dark it was. Like the censors were not fans of it. So I'm
Maybe
not sure if it was this one, but I just kind of remembered that since we're talking about Spider-Man swinging
it
around
could
in
have been.
riot gear.
I mean, I could have seen this episode having a lot more blood originally.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I mean, that's possible. They might have had to tone that down. Not sure. Not sure. God, Scott Lang, the reanimated head of Scott Lang, that was pretty awesome. That was actually Paul Rudd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well,
so.
For sure.
that was definitely a great callback to Futurama as well.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I had the same vibe when he spun around. I was just like, oh, somebody give him some Torgo's executive powder.
I'm looking real quick to see who our cast was for episode 5.
It
Because
was
I know that.
definitely Paul Bettany as the Vision.
Mm.
And then we had Sebastian for Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Tom Holland didn't come back for Peter Parker though. I know that.
No. And T'Challa was played by Chadwick Boseman again.
Yeah.
I know
It's key to him.
it's so weird hearing his voice and knowing that he was filming all of this stuff with like pancreatic cancer. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Like-
I kind of feel like you could hear that in the Killmonger episode.
Like the exhaustion.
His voice sounded so much more strained at certain
Mhm.
points.
It's really weird like hearing his voice and just thinking about like he's not here anymore. It's so weird to me still. It's just like, I think it's just because like nobody knew that, like nobody knew.
Mm.
No, that dude was such a fantastic person. He was like
Mhm.
going to cancer wards and cheering up kids with cancer while he's like expiring from cancer. Like that shit's rugged.
Mhm. The entire cast revoiced their characters except for Tom Holland, and that's probably because he was filming.
Really? Jon Favreau plays Happy in these? Man.
Yep.
I loved like the team that they kind of built up with this episode. I thought it was a really unique team. I wasn't expecting them to be there. Like with Happy and Okoye and I mean all of them. It was a good time.
Yeah, they had a good group dynamic.
Mhm.
It was all the team players. Like nobody in the group was a loose cannon. Like they're all team players. And they're all sidekicks except for Spidey.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right.
I do want to clear up real quick. It is 9 episodes for the season. It wraps up October 6th.
Oh my wow. Okay.
It was originally supposed to be more, but due to COVID and everything else, animation shutting down, they wrapped it up early, I think is what it. Let me find it again. I believe that's the reason.
That makes sense. It's unfortunate. The pandemic has been such a pain in the ass for a lot of people.
Yep.
Rough.
I'd rather
Gosh.
get 9 like finished and polished episodes though than like 9 that are really good and then like the remaining like 4 or 5 that are just not up to par. You know what I mean?
True. For sure. God, what was your favorite part of the episode? How about you, Sarah?
Oh my, I have to say the zombie Scarlet Witch was horrifying, but I loved it so much. It reminded me of the witch from the game Left 4 Dead, the witch zombie.
Yeah,
And it
for
was,
sure.
yes, and just seeing Vision kind of struggling with accepting the fact that he is like responsible for people dying because he's feeding her.
He's the
And it's just
Yep.
it was so good. I love that part so much.
For sure. He is the Marvel Universe's biggest simp. Like, this fool, like, just lures people in to feed to his dead girlfriend, talking about, I don't entirely understand what I've done. Like, oh, okay, bro, that's a good, like, okay. Like, jeez.
Good fallback. I'm an android. I don't know.
Yeah, they have like the most codependent relationship. It's like so toxic. They're just like, they just simp over each other and forget everybody else. Like, meh, who are other people? What are other people? Forget them. Like, oh man.
I did appreciate the callback to the zombie comics with T'Challa losing the leg and needing crutches like in the comics. That was pretty well done.
Yeah, I actually I really liked the fact that he was like saving people and like feeding her bit by bit to like lengthen the process. Like, that's very Vision, like the cold methodicalness. Like, and I mean, and if you're being that cold and methodical, you take their leg first because they can't dip out that way.
Yeah. Also, it was Sarah, I am assuming you have watched WandaVision.
Of course.
It brought back those feels of how Wanda felt when Vision was dead, and how it's very coinciding with Vision not really understanding mourning, but he's mourning Wanda and can't let her go even though she's dead. He could have just like blasted her to bits, but
they're just not meant to be happy in any universe.
No, that's very true. Very true.
This episode with Scarlet Witch in it did make me question if this actually has any relevance on timelines with the rest of the MCU, because we know that Scarlet is a Nexus being, so technically this should never have happened.
I was very confused how she became a zombie because it's the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
No, well, okay, so Wanda Maximoff was still the Scarlet Witch, but then she became a zombie. So I mean, like, the Scarlet Witch is still there, Wanda. The power's still there. She can still use it.
I feel like Marvel is really gonna have to amp up their way of explaining Nexus beings. Because as of right now, it's like, we know she's a Nexus being. We know that like Loki is not, because he has variants. We know that Peggy Carter is not. So it's the way they explained it is she is the same person across all timelines. She doesn't, whatever timeline she is in does not alter, I believe, correct?
They made it sound like there's like, for every universe there's like the, like, I don't know, because they left it, they didn't explain it very well, because like one interpretation is that she's the only one, she's the only like Wanda Maximoff / Scarlet Witch, and like Nexus being means like she's the only one there is, and like whatever timeline she goes to, she's on that timeline, and there's not one on any other timelines. But then like another interpretation is that like the iteration of her that we've seen is like universal, like every universe has that exact same version. But I don't know, but like, and how long does that last? Like, so yeah, she was born, she existed, she was the Scarlet Witch, and then she turned into a zombie. So like, yeah, you're definitely right. We need more clarification.
Okay. So if we go from the clarification of the comics, right? And this is a huge push away because they might not be going towards this. Nexus beings are rare individual entities with the ability to affect probability and the future, thereby altering the universal time stream. These beings are referred to as Nexus beings because they act as a keystone of the multiverse and are crucial to its ultimate coherence and stability. Basically, they can cause major branches.
And it sounds like they can fix them. So like, and we know that Wanda's going to be in Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it could entirely be. I think you're right. I think they're going to rely on Scarlet with Doctor Strange to fix the Nexus events.
Interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. The trailer's making it look like Doctor Strange breaks the multiverse is like really weird in how it doesn't jive with what we saw in Loki.
I feel like it's a combination of Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange performing like that spell in No Way Home. I think it's like everything kind of happening at once.
Yeah.
And so it literally causes a multiverse of madness because you have two people that have just broken like this, like everything just like hit the fan basically because of those two.
Yeah. It's basically the moment when Loki is in front of Kang and Kang stops and he's like, and that's the event. It's like all of these time periods right at the same time just clicking. And I feel like Shang Chi, when he during his movie, has an event that possibly could have altered things as well.
That's right, yeah, because the post-credit scene, which we will get to later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Was there anything else from yeah. My favorite part of the zombie episode was when Bucky cut Cap in half with his shield. That was my favorite moment. Yeah. That was pretty epic.
I was disappointed by Spidey Supreme not actually being Spidey Supreme.
Nope. It wasn't even Spidey. They packaged the toy is marketed as like Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. When does he hunt a zombie at all?
Yeah.
Like they are running the whole time. Like I was like, that's funny. Okay. Not what I was expecting from Spidey. Based on like Spider Supreme and Zombie Slayer Spidey. But it was still cool.
Yeah.
He was
good red herring.
Yeah, right.
I wanted magic slinging Spider-Man. I'm so disappointed.
Oh man. Well, curb your disappointment because the next episode was even better in my opinion. I was a huge fan of Killmonger saves Stark. What about you?
Which one of us?
Oh, you, Roy, you.
Okay. Yes, this episode to me was as hard as it is to say after Star-Lord T'Challa, this episode was my favorite. So far, this episode has done the most for me, and it broke my heart that we didn't get superhero T'Challa. Or not superhero T'Challa, superhero Killmonger. I thought we were getting good guy Killmonger. It broke my heart, but at the same time, it was like, yeah, this is what it needed to be, and like we said earlier, with Tony Stark biting the dust in each of these episodes, I feel like it's just cosmic balance from him using the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, yeah, I will agree. I thought this was my favorite episode as well. What about you, Sarah? What did you think?
I was also kind of hoping that Killmonger would turn to a better side, but I also really liked like the constant like changing teams every 10 seconds kind of thing for him.
Mm.
I thought that this episode was really, really well done. Apparently Tony Stark just cannot live anymore. He has to be killed off in every universe, which we've already discussed, but I really feel like these episodes, I feel like they're just getting better each episode. I really feel like they're almost like the characters themselves are more developed, and I just really it made me miss Killmonger. I wish he wasn't killed off in Black Panther because I'm like, damn, that's a good villain, you know?
Me too. I was really that was like my biggest disappointment with Black Panther was that they killed off Killmonger, but you know, he even had his speech where he explains why he'd rather be dead. So, I mean, it's an effective villain. He served his purpose. Everybody is going to talk about him for years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We did get Thunderbolt Ross in this quite a bit.
Thunderbolt, wouch. Yeah. Always Thunderbolt Ross. He always has to show up to give Roy a little bit of love. Roy loves some Thunderbolts, and he's excited for them to come to the big screen.
I am. We're gonna get it. It's either that or Dark Avengers, you know, and I would rather the Thunderbolts, honestly.
Me too.
Especially with DC going with Suicide Squad. I feel Marvel's only step is to, hey, look, we have one of those too. So,
yeah. I agree. I feel like, I don't know, they made Zemo so different that they can't really use the original iteration of Thunderbolts where it was like Zemo and a bunch of villains in disguise, like tricking people into thinking they were heroes. I don't think they can really go with that iteration in the MCU. But there's like a bunch of different iterations of Thunderbolts, so it could be plausible. There's one iteration where Bucky runs the team. So I mean,
yeah,
he is still military. He could be in charge of a team led by Ross, like as the overarching tactical officer and stuff. You know, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I really like seeing Killmonger back. He's one of my favorites. I really like Michael B. Jordan. He had plans within plans within plans. He like double crossed 6 different people in this episode. It was really interesting.
Always one step ahead.
Yeah, until he had to freestyle. I thought it was, I don't know. That was such a weird angle though for me. Like they didn't really build up his character at all in the movie as like a robotics type genius type person. Like, so just out of nowhere, he happens to be like, by the way, I have this Gundam that I designed.
Well, I mean, do you think that was just because like Tony Stark would naturally be more like attracted to Killmonger in that sense?
I feel like vice versa. I feel like that's why Killmonger sought out Tony in this universe, was to get those built. But like, why Killmonger have like bots made? I don't know. Why does he have this Gundam design? Because he likes anime.
He said.
I mean, that just confirms that his armor is made to look like Vegeta on purpose. So that's cool.
He does say they do discuss him going to MIT and graduating in the Black Panther movie, though. So, and I believe it was engineering is what he was, you know, what they said his degree was in. So it makes sense that they would call it back and show a little bit more of that side. Okay, and
that's true.
You know, this was definitely a callback to Iron Man 2, also with Iron Vanko, I believe was his name. Whiplash.
Yep.
So
Ivan Vanko.
I feel like they justified kind of the Black Panther movie coinciding with Iron Man 1 and then going right into Iron Man 2. Because we also got James Rhodes dying.
Yeah, that was kind of a
sucked.
shock. That was a big twist.
And it felt like a double stab to see T'Challa's casket also. Like that hurt even more than it was supposed to because we lost Chadwick Boseman.
For
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, that was
Oh
rough.
man, it was that was kind of rough, man. Hit him with that sonic thing that was from the second Iron Man as well. That like sonic amplifier that he uses to like throw him into like seizures or whatever. Pretty cool callback actually. That was like kind of a nifty thing in the second movie. Yeah, that was rough though.
I kind of wonder, since Chadwick was, recording all this stuff while he had the cancer, when they pitched this idea to him and we're like, oh yeah, T'Challa's going to die this episode. I wonder like what emotionally in his mind was going through when he heard that kind of thing. It just, especially if he's already battling that, it's like, what kind of emotion, like, how do you push through an episode like this? Knowing, okay, I got to portray my character who is going to die, and this could potentially be me soon. It's,
yeah. I don't know. His portrayal meant a lot to a lot of people. I feel like he had like extra weight on his shoulders and felt like he needed to not let people down. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know, he kept it a pretty big secret. He didn't really let anybody grieve for him until it was time,
mm.
Well,
I don't
I think it was his wife posted on like Twitter, and I think that's where it like took off. Instagram and Twitter was like the official statement that he died, and it was like it took over like everything that day because it was just so out of nowhere for like 99% of like people that were actively like invested in him, and it was just like I can't imagine, because he was also filming like live action with all of that going on too. I can't imagine like the physical and mental strain that had on him, and it really didn't show.
Nah, not so much. Well, gosh, I remember there were like tabloid pictures that came out like a couple months before he passed that like he was looking real skinny, and of course the tabloids were like jabbing at him as they do. And then like when he passed, I like thought back on that and I was like, God, that's rough, dude. So he's like wasting away and you're like making fun of him for wasting away. Like, shitty tabloids, man. They're pretty rugged sometimes.
And I remember that too. And it was like most of everything that I read was people being like, he doesn't look well, not because I think one of the tabloids was saying something about drugs, and I was like, that doesn't make sense,
Right?
Yeah. Just from his activities outside of acting, he was one of the actors that I could legitimately say, that doesn't seem, doesn't seem plausible. But I've been surprised before by that, so who's to say?
Right. I don't know. Oh man, Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P. He was such a good actor, such a good dude by all accounts.
How did you guys feel about his after he saved Tony, and they came back during the interview, and they asked him, the reporter who is played by the same girl who played her in
Yeah.
Iron Man, asks him why he was there when his unit was 400 clicks away. He describes it. Tony says something. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I was there to stop an assassination because I knew about it." Like,
Yeah. Are
the
you implying
reveal.
that he knew about the attack? Because I did.
Yeah. What did you guys think of that entire scene? How that played out?
It felt really rushed. Like it was just like out of nowhere. Like, oh yeah, I knew because that man. It was like taking some from Iron Man 1. Like, hey, your COO is kind of an asshole. Like, it just felt like really rushed. But I know it was just like get that exposition out of the way, so we knew why Tony trusted him so much. It was just
Hmm.
weird. It was just a little bit too fast for me.
I thought it was clever storytelling because they got to mention the 10 rings in two
Mhm.
different times, like so close to the Shang-Chi reveal, like release. So they like, I don't know, still a little bit of cross promotion there because they got to mention the 10 rings twice and kind of remind you that like the 10 rings was important in the first Iron Man movie and like quasi important in the third one. But I don't know. I thought using that as the way that he got this info was pretty clever because, I mean, I don't know. If you're embedded with them, you would have like caught on to that. And then, I don't know. I thought it was really interesting because I'm sure like if he's actually undercover with the 10 rings and he sees this shit, that's what made it click. Like, oh man, Tony Stark, I bet if I save that dude, he can build my robots for me.
Mm. And it also gives you that thought that like, oh, if he was undercover in the 10 rings, that means the 10 rings knows about him. He kills Tony Stark. He just did what the 10 rings were trying to do, you know. And he's got all their technology. Maybe Killmonger is actually in league with the 10 rings. And now that he's got the Black Panther stuff, maybe it's like, you know,
Yeah.
10 rings versus Black Panther eventually.
I almost completely forgot that the 10 rings was even like brought up because it was so like brief. I think Killmonger said it once and then it was like never acknowledged again throughout the episode, I don't think.
I
So
think
I totally forgot that that was even brought up.
I think he said it once right at the very beginning of the episode when he throws the
Yep.
rocket. He's like, I'm
Mhm.
here to save you, blah, 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 10 rings. And then, like, during the interview, he mentions them again. So I was like,
Yep.
huh, they went out of their way to, like, drop that a couple times.
That and when he clicks that button and all the images pop up from Obadiah,
Mhm.
it's the 10 rings symbol is like right in the forefront. I mean it's like huge and it's the exact symbol from the movie. So
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty funny line. Google it. I just dropped it online.
yeah.
Got him.
I
Happy
like
knocks him out. Wham.
never liked that guy. It's like, okay. And he was so upset that he didn't get like chief security officer and he didn't know any of this stuff was going on. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
This bull. That was supposed to be my promotion.
It
So we
was
produce the mechs, and then God, he betrays Rhodey, murks off Black Panther. That was a really cool fight scene, though, when Black Panther's taking out all those dudes.
mhm.
Really cool interpretation of Black Panther. His movements were like very fluid, lightning fast. He was murking people.
Ulysses Claw in this. Circus as this is
Mhm.
they even got his like facial expressions on the cartoon and it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think anybody else could play Ulysses at this point. Because Circus just like he does such a good job. I mean, it's just the voice, everything. It's so great.
Yeah, this interpretation of Claw, for sure. They they cast him really well. I wasn't a fan of what they did with him. Like, I don't know. He's cool. Like, he's completely different in the comics, but
Mhm.
it's, it's all good. He's one of those comic characters that wouldn't really translate well into like real
What,
life.
you mean no purple jumpsuit with, a satellite on his arm?
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
That
The
would be
purple
interesting,
underwear.
though.
It was like a maroon jumpsuit. He had the purple
Oh, you're
underwear
right.
on the
You're
outside.
right. You're right.
I really can't imagine anybody in like the MCU world taking a man that dresses like that seriously.
Right? They barely take each other seriously now.
That's also very true.
Let's see if we got this real quick. There he is.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, that's right.
Classic.
And his arm is vibranium also.
Mm-hmm. He's
The
made of
vibranium
sound.
arm, I think, would be like cool because he didn't have that, did he? In like the movies or in the What If?
In the movies, he had this little thing right here.
That's right. Okay, yeah, because I was like, I don't remember a full arm being vibranium.
Yeah, no, it's like he had the prosthesis and there's just a little bit of vibranium inside, but it's entirely a mechanized arm.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, he's fully flexing fingers and everything else.
That reminds me. Can we talk about how Claw gets a better robot arm than Bucky? I mean, isn't Bucky like a friend at this point? Like, wasn't that a gift to fight off an alien invasion? And this criminal got a better robot arm?
I think Bucky's arm is probably a lot better, simply from the fact that it's probably entirely made out of vibranium. And Ulysses wasn't. But as for looking more real, yes, Ulysses won that.
I mean, give Bucky a blaster, man. He's still got to be using like M13s and AKs. Like, give this man a blaster.
He'll just pick up Rocket and spin him around like he did before. It's easy.
I loved that scene. That was classic.
Yeah.
God, so I don't know. I thought it was really weird that like they load up all of these. So they make all these mechs for the army to go to war against Wakanda after Stark is killed by the Dora Milaje. Allegedly. And then they load up all these mechs. They fly off somewhere and just land and meet up with Claw. Like, he's literally right there when they land. Like, what? Shouldn't he be on the run after this whole like deal gone bad? Like, I don't.
Yeah, there were a few hiccups, writing wise. It seemed like that. I mean, it's plausible, but it's unlikely.
They land and Killmonger and Claw go missing, and the military is just like, let's still go on the attack, even though the designer of the things just went missing. This isn't a trap at all. Like,
well, it's Thunderbolt Ross going, those guys are trustworthy.
Yeah, it's.
I'm putting together Dark Avengers. Those guys are okay.
They're gonna be a team. It was a cool fight scene once the Wakandans started fighting the big robots. That was pretty slick. What'd you think, Sarah?
I liked the battle. I wanted a little bit more of it, but I also understand that like the episodes are only like a half hour. But the battle scene was really cool. I liked seeing, the general, the queen fighting, which I mean I didn't really get to see her do much of, so that was actually really cool.
That was pretty badass. I liked the shields. I liked the way all the dudes charge up with their shields, and then the Dora like leap off of them to get the height advantage. Really cool tactics there. And the rhinos, everybody likes the armored rhinos.
Mm-hmm. It still wasn't a proper shield wall, but it was okay.
No, it's true. It's true. Give them credit though. They didn't get outflanked.
They tried. They tried. It's okay.
They gave it their best effort.
They had jumping dragoons behind them. If you think about it.
Yeah, the Dora, man, they are some of the best fighters on the planet. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy how well trained they are. And the vibranium spears are just lethal weapons. They take out all sorts of enemies.
Yeah, and there were a few points during the fight that actually made me question it too. Simply because they state beforehand that the mechs are made out of vibranium alloy. And vibranium doesn't cut vibranium, I don't believe.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of a miss. I felt like that was almost like missed dialogue there. Like that was weird. Like, because originally they weren't made out of vibranium. They just had that little tiny bit of vibranium to power them. Yeah. So I feel like that was like what they meant. But the way they worded it definitely made it sound like, yeah, those things are made of vibranium. They're basically Iron Man suits. Good luck cutting them. Like, what?
It was weird because I saw when they started cutting them in half. I'm like, wait, what? I get going for like joints and destroying joints on them and stuff and rip, crowbarring the heads off, but it really seemed odd.
And didn't Killmonger slice at the first? He sliced at that prototype like 4 or 5 times and didn't like cut off any limbs. So I mean, I don't know. The Dora is just super strong, man. Without being super strong.
Now, the Dora don't have the purple juice, right? The grape Kool-Aid?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't know what to call it.
Are you talking about the herb that the next Black Panther drinks? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's like the heart herb or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, because it only is consumed by the one that will become like the next Black Panther, like the Guardian of Wakanda, that type of thing.
And that was the plan all along, was to be the new Black Panther. That's like what all the scheming and mechanisms was for.
I'm surprised he didn't kill King T'Chaka. Like, I seriously, because he watched King T'Chaka kill his father.
Well, now he got the heart herb. Now he's the Panther. He can just do it.
Well, he could, but he has to win over the people still. And he has everyone but Siri played. And I mean, it's like,
seems like he's really good at chess. So I feel like he can get T'Chaka bumped off at some point and make it look like somebody that he wants to take out did it. He was very Zemo this episode. He was a man with a plan, and he made it happen. I feel like he could do it again.
True.
Thought it was a good ending. They keep ending it on like almost like, hey, we're gonna do a sequel. Like, I don't know. It was a good ending where Pepper and Shuri are gonna team up to avenge Tony
and T'Challa.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Hopefully, we get to see that play out because I actually like that like teamwork type of thing with Pepper and Shuri. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's like a fun dynamic to explore.
Yes. So hopefully we get to see more of that. And Zombie Thanos, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be a rough fight. That'd be really cool. Gosh, so that's What If, basically. I feel like we should probably start talking about some Shang Chi. We've been here for about an hour now.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Should we do a rating quick?
We probably should.
We didn't do a rating on episode 5 either, so.
Yeah, no, I feel like, honestly, I gave both of them a 10. Like when I saw the zombie episode, I was like, this is my favorite episode so far. And then I saw this one and I was like, this is my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, no.
I'm down for the ride. I like them.
I feel like episode 5 to me was probably the lowest episode grade I'm gonna give.
Wow.
And that was I would probably give that episode a 5.5. It was entertaining, but it just the story it doesn't feel like there was real story build up. It was just more action, move. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5.5. Zombie brains.
Fair enough. I gave it 10 bites. So
10 bites.
What about you, Sarah? Out of 10, what would you rate the zombie episode?
I enjoyed it so much because it was so different, because zombies haven't really been in anything in the cinematic universe, so it was refreshing in that sense. But I'm kind of with Roy with kind of the plot wasn't really developed as much as I was hoping it would be. I would say a 7. I'd give it a 7.
Right on. And then what about we'll start off with you for the Killmonger episode, Sarah. How many ratings, how many spears would you give the Killmonger episode?
Oh, probably 9. I love Killmonger so much. So seeing him and hearing him like be back in the universe was just so good. And just I love the Black Panther. I love Wakanda, everything. So it was like easily, I think it's the best episode that they put out.
Nice. What about you, Roy?
I would agree with Sarah. I'm gonna give it a 9. It was probably my favorite episode so far. I gave episode 2 a 9 as well. Mm-hmm. I feel like there was a few errors that didn't sit well with me that kind of kept it from being that 10, but sure. Overall it was an amazing episode, and I felt like the storytelling in this one was much better.
Cool. I give it a 10. I liked it. I was down for it. I loved this episode. I feel like that's kind of the general consensus. Everybody I've talked to was kind of saying that this is their favorite one so far. It's a real testament. Everybody liked Killmonger. He's such a cool character. It's really cool seeing him explored further.
Agreed.
Even in a what-if setting. But yeah. Cool. So I suppose moving on, Shang Chi was really awesome. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Thought it was a great movie. Thought it was a really good standalone movie. Like, you definitely don't need to have seen the other Marvel flicks for this one to click. It was just fantastic movie. What'd you think, Roy? Did you like it? Tell me your complaints.
Actually, no complaints about the movie. I was on the edge of my seat the entire movie. It was a Marvel movie for me. It wasn't a Black Widow Disney Plus movie. It was a Marvel cinematic movie. It kept me going. It kept the roller coaster kept doing the dips. You know, it would action, story, story. You know, it kept me going.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What about you, Sarah? What'd you think?
Like I had said before, I think it's the best origin story that they have put out. I think it's really refreshing because, yeah, it's Marvel, but it doesn't feel like the traditional Marvel movie that we've kind of, we've kind of gotten used to, like with all like the comedic breaks and stuff like that. I just feel like the characters, like all of the characters were really well developed. which for an origin story is kind of rare just because usually it's focusing on the main character and then like the side characters, they get a little exposition. But I feel like in this movie, everybody was like fully developed and polished. The visuals were stunning. The fight choreography was, again, just spot on. It was so smooth. And like the villain of the story wasn't really a villain, if that, I mean, we'll get into that in a second, but it's just like, it's so refreshing. It's so good. I love it. I'm definitely gonna see it again. So.
Word. What up, Roy?
I take it back. I do have one complaint.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We are still following the standard Marvel pattern of the villain being the polar opposite of the hero. We have the
That is
evil
true.
10 rings user against the good 10 rings user.
Well, that's true. They did go with the classic father villain son hero trope, and that's, I mean, you know.
I think it was
Time
done
and
really
time again.
well though, because it wasn't just like I'm. Yeah, yes, it's the trope, but I feel like it was done in a way that wasn't exhausting, if that makes sense.
Nah,
Just
for sure.
because, I mean, can we go into that? Am I able to go into that? Or are we waiting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Spoilers ahead. We are definitely going to ruin this movie for you if you haven't seen it. So
I don't have a spoilers banner, so
yeah,
you get a verbal warning. That's
yeah,
it.
there it is. Spoiler alert. So yeah, full on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel it coming. His father was just grieving this whole time the loss of Shang-Chi's mother, because she taught him like this whole new side to living that you don't need the rings, and he actually got rid of the rings for a while with her. It wasn't like oh, I'll get rid of them and like secretly using them behind her back or anything. It's just unfortunately what he did back then caught up, and I mean she died as a result, so he's trying to deal with accepting that, and then I think he's literally going insane because he's hearing those voices from the gate.
Yeah,
And so it
Wenwu
was
being
like,
manipulated was a big
yeah.
big twist. I thought that was unexpected and cool.
Yeah, but I think that's why the trope is kind of refreshing, because it's not like he hates his son. He's like, you could never be like me. It's like, I'm literally trying to save the woman that has like shaped us into who we are. Like, move out of my way. Like,
Yeah,
True.
he's just trying to reunite the fam.
yes, like they're both trying to like save their family, but in a different way. And I felt like because of that, it was a really refreshing take on that trope, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's pretty, like, it's backed up by the fact that like Wenwu definitely knew where Shang was the whole time and like where his sister was the whole time, but he's just like letting them do their own thing until he actually like needed their pendants, and then he's like, all right, now I need to secure you now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But gosh, I really liked it. It was pretty funny intro. It had the Ferris Bueller vibes with Katie stealing the car and going on the joyride as the valets. That was pretty funny.
One of my favorite things was he's got a poster in his room of Stephen Cho's Kung Fu Hustle. And Kung Fu Hustle is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Stephen Chow is known for doing outlandishly comedic kung fu movies like Shaolin Soccer and stuff like that, which I'm a huge kung fu movie fan too. So the fact that you have a comedic kung fu movie poster in a slightly comedic action superhero movie, irony.
Yeah. I thought the pacing was really good, like you had mentioned before. Like it definitely, like, the action sequences were not few and far between, but they weren't overwhelming in their like length or how often you got them. I didn't really. The movie slowed down for a little chunk in the middle, but I don't think it ever actually like dragged at all. A lot of revelations when you actually get to Kun Lao and find out about Is that what it was called, or did I say it wrong?
It's not Kun Lao. Kun
Dude,
Lao
the
is
whole
Danny
time-
Rand's place.
Yeah, the whole
man.
time I was thinking that. I was like, so is this supposed to be Iron Fist Land? But they didn't call it the right name, huh? Oh well, I forgot the name. But when they get to the gate town, I thought that was really interesting that the whole village is just like chilling out there, guarding this evil from the world. Really cool backstory for Shang-Chi. Like the childhood, all of his training to be an assassin. Death Dealer, another Marvel villain that they like played up that actually didn't really do anything in the movie.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. It was pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'm not a huge. I haven't read a lot of Shang-Chi's comics, and I can't remember what the place they're trying to find. So I'm trying to find it real quick for you.
Yeah,
Because we can't call it 10 Rings Land or Kung Lao or anything like that. We have
Look
to
at it.
a real name.
Lokun, something like that.
You would think
Yeah,
that
I really can't remember. It was something like that because I definitely thought that when I first heard it. The Wong scene in the Fight Club, that was pretty dope.
Mhm.
If we're talking about, if we're going to talk about the fight scenes, I'm going to go back to the bus with the Twitch streamer commentary.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Oh my God, that
Okay.
I was in there with my sister and we just started cracking up because I follow people on Twitch and it's just like the accuracy of that whole attitude. I thought it was great.
And that's the
off.
hot
No,
dog
I'm good.
vendor also.
Yes, and Spider-Man Far From Home, is that right?
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's same dude at the hot dog stand. He's moving on up.
Nice catch.
Yeah, he's on
nice
vacation.
catch. Yeah. Well, are they in New York at that point? Aren't they?
Yes,
this
if I
is
remember-
San
No, they're in San
Francisco.
Fran. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bay City. What?
They're in one of those coast cities. I don't know. They
Yeah.
all look the same.
He's in San Francisco for a hot dog vendor convention. You know, they have
Makes
those.
sense.
The
Yeah.
San Diego Hot Dog Con.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It's where all the foodies go.
Got the Yeah, it was a really cool fight scene on the bus. Was it a bus or a trolley? I'm not even sure.
I think it was. Oh,
Both. Kind of like both. I believe like a bus trolley. Because it had two sections to it.
Yeah,
and it
that's
had like
why
the
I wasn't
pulley,
sure.
the pulley system too. But I don't think it was on tracks though, because she was driving it like a bus.
Yeah.
Can I just point out that not once in the movie do they call Razor Fist Razor Fist? We
They don't call him
legitimately
that?
No, we learn his name by his car and the sweet paint job on it.
It's
But
great.
I love the attention to detail in the train fight when him and Shang-Chi are going at it, and there's a moment where he reaches out towards Shang like he's going to punch him or something, and then he gets kicked in the face and his arm comes underneath. That's when the bus separates and Shang turns around. You can see the pendants gone, and you know that's the moment he grabbed it because it was so well choreographed to him reaching out at that moment. Then him turning, gone. You knew he got it. And it felt like there was a focus on the pendant during that entire fight.
Yeah, they did a really good job of filming it's one thing to have the really cool choreography, but you gotta film it properly too. And I feel like they did a really good job of framing like the pendant with the fighting and getting like Katie there, like looking all confused and cowering. It was pretty good. Aquafina was pretty good comic relief.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to talk about her. Oh my god, she was great.
She's pretty entertaining.
I don't know what it is about her, but like I always get the like dumpy grandma vibes from her. It's just like the way she walks. Like she walks with her arms at her side, and they don't like move. And she always wears pants that are like up to her navel. It seems like
80s style.
Yeah, 80s style. When I hear her voice, I just think, oh, that woman's got a perm. She's wearing, belly button high pants with, low cut sneakers.
That's funny. I mean, I guess you're not like that far off.
Yeah.
Cool fight scene on the bus, though. Yeah, that was really slick. Really well. God, all the fight scenes were just insane. This is definitely the best part of the movie to me. Was all the fight scenes. The storyline was pretty cool, but I mean, when you're making a kung fu movie, it's all about the kung fu.
I did like how they kept intermittently doing the flashbacks to Shang's past. And it seemed like every time there was a flashback, his sister was just in the background. She wasn't in the forefront. She was in the background, which is funny because like throughout the movie, as it goes forward, she's generally fighting in the background until they clash head to head at her bar. What was it called? Like the Brass Daggers or something?
Oof. I don't know. These are those details I didn't catch my first time through, and I only saw it once.
This is the issue with watching the movie in a theater and not being able to rewind it right away.
I know, right?
Unless we're gonna go and watch it multiple times, which there's been movies that I've done that too. I went and saw each of the Spider-Mans like 4 or 5 times, but I was also going with multiple people.
Yeah. I don't know. Her bar was really cool though. Like the underground fight club was badass. We get to see Abomination for the first time in like a long time. That was very interesting how they're now pulling in. Kind of puts to rest the debate on whether or not the Hulk is canonical or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool.
Golden Daggers Bar or Club. Yeah,
that makes sense. It's a good name.
And they had the same actor for Abomination come back to play him during this.
Mm-hmm. Ralph Fiennes, I believe.
Can we take a second to talk about the Black Widow versus the Extremist Man? You go past the martial artist fighting the sumo wrestler. The next room is there's a Asian woman in a black jumpsuit, and she has the Widow belt. And she's fighting a soldier who is like lighting up red.
I didn't even see that. Good eye.
No, I didn't catch that. I bet all of those fights are Easter eggs. If you go back,
probably. I don't know how the sumo versus karate man would be, but it's probably is.
Dude, that one gave me Street Fighter vibes. I like thought E Honda as soon as I saw that dude.
That's probably actually what it was. Someone was probably really leaning towards that.
Yeah, he's the one that really caught my eye, but the other guy in there's probably like another Street Fighter character.
What else happened? The scaffolding fight was very well done as well.
Mm-hmm. I thought Wong was a badass though. Like using the portals to make the dude punch himself in the face. Like that was clutch and clever. But that's staged apparently. Their fights are staged apparently. Oh yeah.
We got a Thunderbolt watch here because the little portal he creates afterwards looks like it's going back to a holding cell. So maybe Wong is working for the government as a rehabilitative person. You know, maybe he's helping
Maybe.
Abomination become more human again.
Yeah, maybe.
What I
Because
love is that Wong has become one of the most beloved characters in the MCU since his debut.
People love Wong. Yeah, I mean, they give him really good lines. He gets some really good dialogue.
Agreed.
nobody's ever gonna listen to him though.
Yeah.
It's
They
so
always
true.
ignore him.
He's
He,
so smart. Nobody's gonna listen.
yeah, he's the voice of reason, and you know, chaotic good people aren't gonna listen to the voice of reason. They're gonna try and do good things in like the worst possible ways, and that's our Marvel heroes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. Wong has definitely become a fan favorite. Yeah, that scaffolding fight, super cool. I was really impressed, like the way they used like the height, using the different levels of the scaffolding as part of the
Mhm.
choreography, making it a really mobile fight.
Mhm.
That was a really cool thing about all these fights. They were really all over the place. They used their space really
Mhm.
well.
I found the fight to be very reminiscent of like the old Jackie Chan movies. How
Yeah.
Jackie Chan would like rumble in the Bronx and the
Super Cop.
Super Cop, yes, stuff like that, where he's always diving through ladders and then using the ladder to fight people, or he's
Mhm.
diving across counters and using pans. This was very similar to that, with him diving scaffold to scaffold, even using a guy as a walking plank. Even there was one point that he jumps down, he lands on one of the planks, the plank flips up and hits the guy that's jumping down after him. It was I couldn't think of a better way for that scaffolding fight to go. And they even threw in the tense moment with Aquafina hanging from a pole.
Yeah, the bamboo pole like splitting apart. That's like that was, I don't know. That was you totally saw that coming though. Like that's such a common thing. Like, oh no,
Oh,
the
like the
normal
damsel in distress
person.
type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing the damsel in distress. Like, oh no, I'm hanging from this thing, and oh no, it's breaking away from the wall.
I think that the fight scenes were just so well polished that like yeah, that was happening, but it didn't bother me as much because it was just like I was on the edge of my seat with all those fight scenes. I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna get to her in time? Even though you know he's going to. Like she's not dead. So
For sure.
How much of a plot twist would that have been if they totally Gwen Stacy'd her right at the beginning of the movie?
oh my god, that yikes. He probably would have joined his dad at that
Would
point.
have been like, got him. Yeah, this is the only time we really see Death Dealer do anything. Like all the cool like fight scenes with him from the trailer were like right here in the
Mhm.
Yeah,
on the scaffolding during the little getaway.
he
So it
was
was
a
interesting.
red herring for a villain.
Yeah,
It's
they
Yeah.
like
love doing
people are
that.
going in expecting some big fight with him, and he just, he was. I would say he is the taskmaster of this movie.
Oh god.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And like Razor Fist sticking around, that was unexpected. Like I did not think that. I didn't think Razor Fist was gonna like end up as like a redeemed character by the end of it. Like really interesting that they're gonna keep him around. 'Cause you know he'll be back in the next movie.
Well, yeah, he's gonna be him and John gonna be the two rings of Shang's sister. I can't think of her name now. It's like
Xianling?
yeah, something like that. It's it's been what, an entire almost 2 weeks now since I've seen it. It's been out for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, a week or two.
So,
yeah, for
we're
sure.
a little late on this review, but
Bit late. It was a weird week or two. We were hoping Josh would have a chance to see it, but he hasn't had the chance to see it yet. But it's all right. Sarah's been a fine co-host. Very fun.
Oh,
yes,
thank
Happy
you.
to have you.
I would definitely be happy with her coming back in the future, Sarah.
Yeah. If you wanted
Oh,
to, that
you're
would
just
certainly
being
be
coy.
mad fun. No, we'll get you in one time when all three of us are here.
Yeah, sounds
Definitely.
like a plan.
You can join us in making fun of Josh like we do.
Yeah, that's true.
That sounds like a great time.
But Shang-Chi, he beats Death Dealer. Like, he redeems himself, basically, for all those years of abuse. And, like, he's about to murk that dude off when the Mandarin walks in and saves the day for his little crony.
Yeah.
Takes the kids home. I really liked the scene where he plugs those jade things in the statue and the water explodes from the wall.
That visual was
really
so
cool.
gorgeous.
Yeah. So the Mandarin's name is, and I might mispronounce this, Tony Leung Chi.
I think, yeah.
Chi. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. We're just gonna call him Tony. Tony was amazing as the Mandarin.
Yeah, he did a great job.
They didn't even give him like a ton of like exposition of his evilness, you know? Every time I saw him, he was kind of a relatable guy. It's like, I'm doing this for this reason. I'm not doing it to be evil. I'm doing it because I'm trying to better my people. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
And
then he's like, go ahead.
He was trying to like reconstruct his family. I mean, the whole time it was just like, it's hard to root against him. Like, the way he's going about it is wrong, but it's like, dang, he just wants his family back. He's heartbroken.
Yeah, totally. I thought it was really interesting that he's just like hearing random voices. That was such an interesting twist, like having him not be just purely bad. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess he's still a bad guy, but I guess his intentions weren't entirely selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's a complex character. It's like, he's going about it the wrong way, but like you also probably would do it that way if you were in his position because he has the 10 rings. He has that ability to do it.
Can we talk about the faceless chicken in the room?
No. Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Faceless chicken.
The 6-leg. Yeah, Morris. Ben Kingsley's character returns.
Oh, Morris. Yeah. God, I did not know he was coming back. So, like, that was a shock to me. But, like, as soon as you... Like, it was a shock to me. I didn't know that he was in it. But then as soon as they were, like, locked up and you heard, like, the voice, I was just like, what?
Yeah. Now, I believe it was a couple years ago, they did a short called All Hail the King, and they have it on Disney Plus now. And it's basically the 10 Rings men breaking into prison to kidnap him. And he's like this famous guy in prison because he tried to murk Tony Stark. So all of his credit comes there. But people know he's a joke because he's not actually some evil dude. He's just a really good actor. And they're like, do the line.
Yeah, that was great. That you'll never see me coming.
And I find it funny that the Mandarin actually liked his acting so much that he kept him around as a court jester.
Yeah. That's like, yeah, that was pretty funny.
I feel like it was fitting for his character.
Then Morris was interesting.
He was adorable.
Yeah, the merchandising, like you could definitely tell he's gonna be a plush animal.
I'd buy
Yep, I believe it.
it.
All right. So we did see a lot of mythical creatures in this movie as well, like the nine-tailed foxes.
Yeah, I
Uh,
definitely noticed those. I'm assuming all those creatures that we see in that place come from some sort of Asian mythology.
mhm. Um, the terracotta lion dogs. You got those. You got the phoenix-looking things.
Mhm.
The Kirin, I think, is what they were, is the dragon horses. I'm trying to find out what Morris was. I don't remember the name, but I think it's like a creature of chaos, which is weird because it's like it's purposely leading them back to the home to sow chaos in the uh, Ta Lo, I believe is
Mhm.
what we had decided it was called. A Dai
Oh,
Zhang.
okay.
But they
Yeah.
know. Interesting. Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket.
I actually thought that the Mandarin, the fake one, was better in this one than in Iron Man 3, which
Oh,
I
for
feel like
sure.
most people would agree with.
Hmm. God, he was really funny. Ben Kingsley's always, he's been like a really good actor for years. It's just
Mhm.
fun seeing him utilized in like in such an entertaining way. So the
Yeah.
village, we had our montage. You definitely have to have a montage. We got our
Our,
fighting montage.
our superhero suit,
Yep.
which we learn is actually made out of dragon scales. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty legit.
And it makes you wonder how strong they are too. Like, could it take a shot from a bullet?
I
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, I would assume so.
I loved Katie shooting with a bow and arrow and impressing the older man. I thought that dynamic between the two was pretty golden. It was just pure. It was great.
she gets
Mm.
so excited and she throws her hands up like, "Did you see what I did? Like, Dad, look at me."
Mhm.
Yeah, that she definitely has a lot of good moments in this movie.
Hmm.
And we're going to go back a little bit to the beginning because one of the funniest moments is the grandma asking, "When are you two getting married?" And it's like that's like every Chinese sitcom that I've ever watched with a boy and a girl that are friends. It's like the parents always are just like, "When are you getting married?"
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a good throwback to, Asian television.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of influence from like martial arts movies, like Asian sitcoms, things like that. The influence and the passion was really there for like the
Mm-hmm.
culture and all those things, and it's just so nice when it gets put together, and you can feel how much effort they really put into everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I feel like Marvel really is going for respecting the material and
Hmm.
respecting the cultures that they use to make the movies. And it's very similar to how they made Black Panther. And they really delved in. And it to me, this and Black Panther were two cinematic achievements of Marvel that will be very hard to top because of the respect they paid to the cultures.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. I feel like it's important to, I don't know, it's important to make movies that are like not focused on white characters. There's a lot of there's a
Mm,
lot of focus on white characters, so It's always refreshing for like other people to see themselves represented.
So, all right, if there's another cultural hero out there, who do you want the Marvel Cinematic Universe to bring in next?
We're getting her. Kamala Khan, man. We're getting her. Miss Marvel herself, Kamala Khan.
Okay. Sarah, anyone that you can think
I'm
of?
actually with Jeremy on that one, 100%. I'm so excited for that.
I was gonna say I want a Puck movie. I want Alpha Flight from Canada. Captain Canuck, yeah. Wendigo.
Let's go.
That's just what we need. More
We need-
white characters.
No, they're
Canadian.
You
French.
missed the assignment.
They're French.
What color do you think French people are? They're all white.
All
characters.
colors.
But all those characters are white. Alpha Flight's super white.
I doubt they're gonna. They wouldn't whitewash that movie. They'd bring in actors of every kind.
I mean,
You don't have to be white to be Canadian.
they've got the Native American superhero named Shaman.
They could do that.
Yeah, they could do that.
I want to see Luke Cage be brought into the MCU. I know he had his own Netflix show, but I really want to see Luke Cage again. I miss him.
And that's entirely possible with what they've been doing lately, because we are getting Joe Barenthal. I can't say his name either. We're getting him back in Moon Knight, I believe, and supposedly Charlie Cox in Spider-Man.
Yeah, if Charlie Cox is in that, I'm gonna lose my shit.
And then we're
so
getting Kingpin in the Hawkeye show, possibly.
Oh yeah.
Vincent
I forgot about that. He's
D'Onofrio.
supposed to show up in like the 6th or 7th episode.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're
That's
bringing
nuts.
back the same man that played Kingpin from the Netflix Daredevil series, right? Oh, thank God. Okay.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
He was so good.
And
I
then
know he was perfect.
And then there's rumors that they're bringing back Jessica Jones for She-Hulk.
I would love that so much.
I ship that. They were like besties in the comics, so that would make sense.
Well, I feel like they need to bring those characters back in general, because, like, I mean, those shows were actually really good. You know,
they were. I would be fine with them recasting Iron Fist, though.
Yeah, that was the weakest one.
Yeah, I was not too impressed, and like there was rumors that the actor wasn't like all into his training for martial arts scenes and stuff like that, and that's why some of the first season was kind of lackluster with his combat, and then it did improve the second season, but you know, it's a toss up. I would be fine with them getting a different Danny Rand.
Can we get Stephen Amell? Can we just steal that guy?
Stephen Amell?
Yeah, right?
Arrow?
Ollie Queen? Yeah.
Oh.
Can we just steal Ollie Queen?
No. No, you can't have someone that well known.
He'd be a good Iron Fist.
No, because I feel like you have to have someone kind of scrawny to play Iron Fist, because it's more of a kung fu wushu type of martial arts, and Stephen Amell's got more of that. He's not like super bulk, but he's not lean, like super lean. Like I would expect more of a body type like Simu Liu. I'm gonna get the name. I'm gonna get it right.
You got it.
He is determined.
So I would be fine with that. Keeping everyone but Danny Rand.
Yeah, when it always just it's a little annoying, triggering almost, that they just don't care about the project they're working on or like putting in that effort. It's like, especially when Iron Fist came out, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was already like so developed. It's like you know what you're getting into. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Right.
You know?
For sure. For sure. It's like Gwyneth Paltrow whenever they interview her, like I don't know. I've seen random like shows with her and she's like not even sure what movies she's in. She's like, "No, I wasn't in Spider-Man." John Favreau's like, "No, yeah, you were in Spider-Man." She's like, "Was I? No, I was in Avengers. I wasn't in Spider-Man." And he's like, "Oh my god. You were in yeah, like so she doesn't even know what Marvel stuff she's in. She just like shows up, films, gets a paycheck, dips. She like could care less.
She doesn't know what a Marvel is.
Pretty much.
What's a Marvel? What is that?
Oh, something we found out is Shang Chi was not affected by the blip.
That's right.
Word. Yep.
So
he was,
I mean, there was that. Him and Katie both didn't disappear.
right. Well, and apparently, like neither did his sister.
Yeah, because she aged up as well. So there is also the Battle of Talo, the last fight.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of CGI in this fight.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
a
ahead.
lot. No, I was agreeing. Like it was a lot.
So I find it funny because like the big boss fight, you think you're getting Mandarin versus Shang, and then it's a tussle, and then Mandarin like just takes off towards the door, and like he Hadokens Shang into the water, and then jumps across the water himself, and just starts pounding, knocking on the door. He's knocking on the forbidden door, which yeah. I find is funny because that's our. There is a thing called knocking on the forbidden door with New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's when any time a promotion is trying to get like a crossover, it's knocking on the forbidden door because they're going to come and kick your ass, basically. So I don't know if that had any relevance in this situation. I don't think it does. And I'm talking. I'm talking now.
I mean,
you can cut that part out, Chip.
I might. I'm confused.
Just cut out that whole like 2 minutes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It happens, man. We ramble. That's what we do.
So he Hadoukens Shang-Chi into the water.
As one does with their child.
Right? Just yeet him. Ooh, yeet him out of here. And then, I don't know, the Great Protector. Like, that was weird. Like, I thought they were going to be doing Fin Fang Foom, like, from the trailers. But, like, at the same time, he was way the wrong color to be Fin Fang Foom. So I mean, it was interesting though. Like I thought the Great Protector was weird. That was a weird angle, but kind of necessary. You kind of had to have that Deus Ex Machina to fight off the massive goddamn Cthulhu that breaks out of the mountain. Like, oh my god, dude, that Cthulhu was so like awesome.
It looked good.
Yeah, the designs I think for the Great Protector and Cthulhu, God of Death Man thing. I forget what it's called.
Dweller in the Dark.
Thank you. Yes, much simpler name, but I think that the designs were really good.
He even had a Cthulhu name, dude. The Dweller in Darkness. Dude, I feel like that was definitely a deviant. It was definitely our first like look at what the Eternals have been fighting off, keeping it out of our hair.
I think it's more of a Far Realm thing, like Chthon or there's so many of them. Cthulhu being one of them, but Doctor Strange deals with a lot of these things from that dark dimension, not the far realm, I should say.
Sure.
The dark dimension has all these creatures that come through, like the tentacled beast that we see in What If and everything. I think that's what this is something from the dark dimension made its way into reality, and it's trying to eat everything. I don't think it is related to the Eternals. I don't think it's a variant. What do they call them?
Deviant.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. Mainly because like the deviant you see in the commercial looks more like their magic, how it's all, how do you explain it, like wavelength formed, like it's tendrilled together. This looked like it was one creature with just tendrils, like for tentacles. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. You guys keep talking.
Interesting. Dude, the little creatures flying out and stealing souls, that was
disturbing.
that was pretty dope. Like Death Dealer just got murked off without any sort of climax to his character.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to talk about Shang-Chi's his dad's death, because I don't know if either one of you have seen the infamous zombie movie Train to Busan. Have you guys
actually
seen
have
it?
not.
I highly recommend it because, okay, I hate zombie movies. I have watched it now 2 times. It is really, really good. But the reason why it reminds me of that movie is because at the end of Train to Busan, spoiler alert, it's about a dad trying to protect his daughter who he was very distant from because he was like the businessman. He was too busy to invest into family. Well, kind of hits the fan and he does die. But during his final moments, he's remembering his daughter and like realizing like, that was like the point of life, like being a dad for him. And that was like the greatest moment. And then like right before Shang-Chi's father dies, it's like parallel. He's remembering those moments with his son and just looking at him like, I'm sorry. And it's just like, I almost started crying in the theater because I'm like, oh my God, that was really emotional. They didn't even like say anything. Like, I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, that scene definitely tugged at the heartstrings. It was
Mhm.
very emotionally charged.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen Train to Busan, it's not Marvel. Sorry, I'm breaking protocol here. But if you haven't seen that movie, highly recommend it. It is really, really good. Yes, there's subtitles. You need to see it. It's so good.
No, I've definitely heard like really good things about it. I have not gotten around to watching it. It's actually like on my list of flicks to watch. I hear it's really good.
It's incredibly good. It's like you're going to be on the edge of your seat. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to have moments where like your jaw hits the floor. You're probably going to cry a little bit, and that's okay because it's really emotional towards the end, but it's so good.
Now I've got to watch it.
Yeah, you need to get on that and then get back to me because it's a masterpiece, and I'm upset because they're doing their own Train to Busan here in America. They're remaking it, and nobody asked for it.
What's it gonna be? Train to Portland? Like, come on.
Train to Philadelphia.
Ugh. I mean, at least it's always sunny there.
Oh my God. I walked into that one.
I will say, now that I'm looking up images, the Dweller in the Darkness doesn't look anything like the comic book version.
Oh,
No.
I will share this.
okay.
It looks like Cthulhu in mech armor.
That's an interesting image. Oh.
Yeah, like a purple-headed or a blue-headed
Okay.
blue-headed Cthulhu creature.
That's all right.
But
It's a vibe.
Okay.
there's no, I can't find any actual pictures from the movie, but here's more akin to what it looked like, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. It didn't
Um,
actually, because the image you just showed us, he had like actual arms, didn't it?
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
and legs, and it's like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but an octopus on
Yeah,
top.
that's
Oh
weird.
God.
So here's the Dweller in the Darkness from the movie. Now here is the Eternals deviant. All right, this is what I mean by like sinew, like strands, like it's weaving together.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason I don't think that it's linked to the deviants. That creature in the movie was more muscle toned and looked like it had normal skin. Well, as much as a um, dark dimension creature could have normal skin, it must exfoliate.
Mhm. Mhm.
That kind of thing.
I mean, there's different types. Like, I don't know.
That is
I
an
don't know.
interesting design change.
Like,
Like
look
that's
up.
a huge difference.
Yeah, like look at Crow. My
Mhm.
dude Crow. Like, I don't know, man. He's got all these tentacles hanging off of him.
Yeah, I think the deviant part might come more from the rings. I don't think it actually has to deal with the Dweller in Darkness. I think the Dweller in Darkness is more of a magical Doctor Strange type of situation that the rings just got drugged into because they had the power to break the door. But the rings, I think the beacon they give off from the mid-credit scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what attracts the deviants.
And then that attracts the Eternals, right? Like that's kind of the tie-in.
Yep. I should.
Because the Eternals is the next big movie to come out, right?
Logical. Yeah.
Yes.
November.
That's right. And then we get No Way Home in December.
Mm-hmm.
And then Multiverse of Madness in 2022.
March 25th.
March.
I only know the date because it
go.
is my son's birthday, so
Oh.
I have to go to it the day after.
Word. Nah, I go to the midnight showing.
I'll probably take him with me. It's an early birthday present.
That's right.
Has nothing
Bring a
to do
sleeping
with
bag.
work.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that the dragon scales were like the only effective weapon.
Well, it's because they're magical. It's a magical creature. They like say that.
Well, I also think it makes sense because don't they come from the Great Protector?
See, they never expressly said that. There may have been like more
Yeah,
dragons
because
before. But,
because I was trying to think about it because I'm like they only bring up one dragon, but they don't say that the scales come specifically from the Great Protector. So I'm like,
yeah.
did
Yeah,
we
they
have another one?
definitely. Yeah. So I mean, like maybe because they do only expressly mention the one dragon, but
Mm-hmm.
you never
Because
know.
it would make more sense if it came from the Great Protector because it's like the yin to the yang to like the Dweller in Darkness. So it would make sense that
It's
the
just
scales
another.
would like be the only things that kill them.
It's like another way that it's protecting them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those 10 rings are pretty awesome. The interpretation that they had was like really cool. It
Vastly different from what the comics are.
yeah, dude, they effectively turn whoever's holding them into a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. And a really cool power set.
I think it was Kevin Feige that said Shang Chi is on the level of Hulk and Thor when he's wearing those rings.
Okay.
I can see it.
Sure.
I mean,
like,
he has the Kamehameha now.
I mean, yeah.
He does.
I'm just like, that's vastly different than they were in the comics, but all right.
I mean,
Uh,
there's a decent amount of things in the MCU that are different than the comics. Let's just accept that and move on.
For sure. This is one of those this is one of those wild steps away, like Ulysses' Claw.
Yeah.
so there are what's known as the God realms in Marvel Comics. Ta Lo is one of the God's realms. So the creatures of Ta Lo are roughly on the power scale of the Asgardians.
That would make sense because of all the mythical creatures in the gate and the Great Protector there. That makes sense.
And it is home to celestial dragons.
Oh, dragons. Okay, plural.
But we only see one. Because
Well,
we're
the
only in
scales they're
one
using are
portion.
red, and the one we see is like white.
Well, Shang-Chi's sister, her outfit wasn't red scales though.
Yeah, it was silver.
Blue. Yeah, word. Silvery blue. Word. Good catch. Good catch. So I thought it was really cool when he like that. I don't know, that Kamehameha blowing up the big bad, like that was pretty nuts.
I thought that whole sequence was pretty good.
It was. I did like it seemed very Smog and Bard to me.
Oh God.
The dragon basically stopped by a single arrow, from draining the soul of the celestial dragon.
Yeah.
So really, if you think about it, Katie was the MVP of the entire movie.
Oh, for sure. She saved the day.
Yes, but R.I.P. her mentor though. That was sad.
I was kind of expecting all the souls to start like coming back to the bodies after they blew the thing up, but
that's how we get zombies.
Oh yeah, that's how it ties in.
Do you want zombies? Because that's how you get zombies.
What else? There's something else about this scene that was really good, and I had it in my head, and I just lost it.
Take your time.
Normally, I'm more on point, but it's been
His sister clutched it.
It's 2 weeks is just killing me. I feel like I'm totally forgetting, an entire section of the movie, and I know we've covered it pretty well.
I thought it was really I liked when the Ten Rings actually like decided, well, when Death Dealer gets his soul sucked out and Razor Fist's like, let those guys go, we're on their side now. He like breaks off a spear and puts it on his fist. I was like, that's cool. Clever girl.
Yeah, he's dual wielding at that point too. He's got a sword in the offhand.
Yeah, Razor Fist ended up being like a really cool character. I liked him.
After credit scenes.
Okay, here we go.
So you get Bruce Banner.
Yes.
And you get Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers isn't on the world. So, and then she's immediately called away, after she talks, and they ask him how long his father's been wearing them, which we get 1,000 years, roughly. Then we get, she says it's not Kree. I believe she said it's not Kree, or what did she? It's not Chitauri. No, Bruce said it's not Chitauri. She said it's not Kree.
It's not Xandarian.
They basically said it's unlike anything they've seen before, so it's a whole nother ball game with this one.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe they're gonna make it Uru, the like god metal.
Possibly. I mean, maybe they're going for the dragons being the aliens, like Fing Fang Foom was. I can't remember. It's like Shikar or something like that.
All we know is that it kind of set off a beacon when Shang Chi used the Ten Rings, like all together for the first time. That it's almost like the rings were like alive and they were pulsating, like a heartbeat is what it looked like to me.
Yes, the differences in styles.
Mm-hmm.
Shang-Chi fought with love, whereas the Mandarin fought with vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, goes back to the Chinese origins of the open palm and the iron fist.
Yes.
You know, and you see those two different kind of like styles.
So the question is, what is it signaling? Like that's the big, the big question of the night.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely like the beacon that they are talking about in the Eternals trailer.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I mean, obviously, it's tying in to Eternals. Like, I think they already kind of alluded to that before the movie came out.
And that's what made me think that the Dweller in Darkness was a deviant. So I guess, like, I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see.
The rings in the comics are McLuhan, which is what Fing Fang Foom's race is.
Weird.
He ransacked the Mandarin in the comics ransacks a McLuhan starship with a slumbering dragon in it and gets the 10 rings of power. And that's how he gets his powers.
Interesting. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Right on. So that was the first after credit scene. The second after credit scene was them sitting in a restaurant with their friends talking about how they saved the world. And the friends just definitely not buying it.
Mm.
That's pretty funny.
I was fully expecting shawarma.
Shawarma. They just like, I don't know, but then Wong out of nowhere opens up a portal in the middle of the restaurant. Like, that's got to be so jarring for everybody. It's eating.
Was
One
that the
dude's-
post-credit scene, or was that like
That's the mid.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the mid?
Yeah, the
That was the
second.
mid.
So like the final post-credit scene is with his sister back at the compound.
Mm. She sits on the new throne, and it pans out, and you see John and Razor Fist, and then it gets to the courtyard, and you have the courtyard full of women assassins being trained.
She's basically just starting over.
And then it pans out further. I thought it was great that they have graffiti drawn all over the building at that point. Like they have artists outside painting this. She's creating the golden daggers in the 10 rings.
Yeah.
I mean, if you already have the base set up, don't waste it. You know, hardly anyone knows it's there. So
I think I must have left before that one. I don't think I saw that one.
How do you leave?
God.
How do you leave a Marvel movie before they just turn off the screen? you're pointing across the room at your SO.
That one. Yeah.
Chip, I don't want to say
feel like,
kick her to the curb, but
I feel like I had to dip after that first post-credit scene. I don't think I stayed for the final one. Whoops. I'll have to watch it on this copy I have.
And YouTube's taking us down.
We'll see. Man, should we close it out with that? How many rings do you give the movie, Roy?
I give it 9 shiny rings.
9 shiny rings. I'm gonna give it a good solid. I agree. I give it a solid 9 rings. What about you, Sarah?
I would say 9.
So nobody gives it the full 10 rings. Try again, Shang-Chi. See you next time. Jeez.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, solid 27. That's a good rating. It's a good rating. It's a great movie. Enjoyed it.
It's one of the better movie ratings we've given in a while.
For sure. For sure.
So,
well, our time's getting long. I feel like we should probably close it out with that. It was a lot of fun having you here, Sarah. If you're down, we'll definitely have to bring you along again sometime.
Yeah, of course. It was great being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roy. As always, it's fun arguing with you.
We didn't argue much this one.
No, we got along.
We
agreed.
argue more when Josh is here than when we're together.
That's true.
I think Josh is just an instigator.
He's the
I think that's what's going on.
It's true. It's true. He knows what buttons to press for each of us to get a rise out of the other one. Right on. Well, gosh, it was fun, guys. I don't think we're leaving you with a trailer tonight. I think we're just gonna wrap it up. I'm Chip.
I'm Roy.
I'm Sarah.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time, you marvelous monsters.